The paths through the forest don't always lead to destinations. Sometimes these paths lead living people to the valleys of death. The story begins with a middle aged man, Scott Shaw, who arrives in the quiet town of Virginia, Appalachia, in search of his daughter. Jane. 6 weeks have passed. There is no trace of Jane. Scott is worried. He inquires at every shop and on every street, but everyone's faces are unfamiliar, and there is a strange silence in their eyes. An old bar owner simply says, "If your daughter went into the forest, forget about her. She won't come back." Worry deepens on Scott's face, but there is no defeat in his eyes. He sets off towards the forest. Flashback to 6 weeks earlier. Jane, her girlfriend Miller, and friends Adam, Lewis, Darius, and Gary are all on an adventure trip. Youthful enthusiasm, laughter, the beauty of the forest, and an exciting trekking plan. Everything seems perfect. But even before starting the trek, they get into an argument with the villagers. An old man, Nate, warns them, "Don't go into these woods. Some things that are old are also dangerous." Darius laughs and says, "We've come in search of our history. We're not afraid of the truth." And then they all set off towards the Blue Ridge Mountains, where every tree has a story and every shadow hides a presence. The forest paths are beautiful but not trustworthy. After walking for several hours, they all get lost, and then suddenly a heavy log comes rolling down and crushes Gary. Everyone screams. It wasn't an accident, it was a trap. Now fear begins to overwhelm them. Mila is injured. Lewis tries to help her walk. But in the meantime, a masked stranger appears, shoots Lewis with an arrow, and drags him away. Darkness deepens. The sounds of the forest are becoming terrifying. Adam, in a fit of anger and fear, fires a barrage of bullets at a masked figure. When he removes the mask, the truth is revealed. It wasn't a wild animal, but a human being, perhaps a man from the local community. Jane and the other friends are shocked. They realize Adam has committed murder. In their fear, they reach the top of a hill that same night, where there is an old wooden house they use for shelter. But the house isn't a sanctuary, it is a trap. The next morning, they wake up bound in chains, facing masked figures from a different world, a different society that calls itself the Foundation. Their leader is Venable, a serious, calm, but dangerous man. He says, "We have been living here since 1859. Our laws are different. Our world is different. You have killed one of our people. Now you must answer for it." Then begins the brutal court of jungle law. Adam is brought before them. Venable asks, "Did you kill our man?" Adam is afraid but admits the truth. "Yes, but I thought he was coming to kill us." Venable nods and pronounces the sentence, "Blind him so he can only see with his inner eyes." A member of the Foundation thrusts an iron rod into Adam's eyes. Screams echo through the forest. Jane, Darius, and Milia are stunned by what they witness. They realize that escaping is their only option, but when they try to flee, Milia is caught in a trap and killed. Now, only Jane and Darius remain. Venable offers them a deal. "If you show loyalty, we will accept you." Darius agrees out of fear. But Jane doesn't break. The flashback ends. In the present, Scott has now reached the depths of the forest. Following the bloodstains, he enters a hidden cave where he suddenly sees Jane. But Jane is not the same anymore. Her face is hardened, and there is not fear in her eyes, but defiance. Scott doesn't understand. He asks, "What happened to you?" Jane says, "Dad, these people aren't just savages. This is a whole world. But I have to get out of here, and I am not going alone." This is the real turning point of the story. Now Scott and Jane plan a rebellion against the Foundation together, but will they be able to break free from this old closed society? Will they get out alive? Absolutely. Now presenting Wrong Turn 2021 Part 2, inside a cave in the jungle, Scott and Jane stand face to face. This father-daughter reunion should have been comforting, but there is something heavy in the air because Jane is no longer the innocent girl who came to this jungle 6 weeks ago. She has seen and endured so much. Scott quietly asks, "We can escape, right?" For a moment, fear flickers in Jane's eyes. But then she says, "Escaping won't be easy, Dad, but if you are with me, we'll try." In the darkness of the night, they move together towards the hidden world of the Foundation from where Jane was taken. Scott takes out a silently concealed pistol from his bag. Jane knows that it is not just about escaping anymore, it is about fighting back. They go inside. Weapons are scarce, but their resolve is strong. Inside, they see that Darius has now become a complete part of the Foundation. Dressed like a soldier, with the same mask and the same silence on his face, Jane recognizes him. Darius, is that you? Darius quietly says, "This isn't me, but I understand them now, Jane. The world wants to kill us. But here we will be kept alive." Jane falls silent. Scott angrily pulls out his pistol. "Let's go, Darius. Are you with us or with them?" But Darius is backs away. Venable and the rest of the Foundation members arrive. Now a dangerous struggle begins. Scott shoots at some of them. Jane pushes them back with a torch. Venable steps forward. "You think we're bloodthirsty number. We just live by our own rules. But whoever breaks our laws cannot live here." Scott and Jane run towards a tunnel. But two masked men from the Foundation chase after them. A fierce fight ensues. Scott kills one. Jane pushes the other down. But then Venable reappears. He stops Jane and says, "You have a chance. Your partner Darius is with us. You can join us too." Jane looks him in the eyes. "You imprisoned me, killed my friend. To me, you are just a savage. I am a human being, not an animal." And then Scott fires his last bullet at Venable. Venable falls to the ground but doesn't die. Jane and Scott now escape through an old secret passage at the back of the cave. The next day, they are both tired, wounded, but alive. There is a highway nearby where Scott signals for help. A car stops. The father and daughter get in to return home, but the story doesn't end there. A few weeks later, Jane is back to her normal life, in the city, in new clothes, among new people. But something has changed inside her. She still has nightmares. Sometimes the voices of Darius, sometimes the screams of the forest, sometimes the eyes of Venable. One day, Venable stands at Jane's doorstep, alive. A woman and two children are with him. He says very politely, "We've just come to bring you home. We consider you one of us now." Jane is startled. She invites them inside, smiling, and then suddenly attacks them. She kills all three of them one by one with a knife and a noose. In the final scene, Jane looks at the camera with blood on her hands and tears in her eyes. "If anyone ever enters my world again, they won't leave alive." And then the camera pulls back. Jane's house is completely silent, but behind that silence, a new story is unfolding. This 2021 version of Wrong Turn serves as a lasting reminder. Sometimes a wrong turn reveals our true nature.